Hi, guys. Exciting news for season 4. The Thrive Tribe newsletter is for everyone and it's free.
To sign up for our newsletter and to get more out of Chasing Brighter and engage with our amazing community, go to chasingbrighter.com/newsletter to get the latest updates.
And every month we have freebies, so check it out.
Welcome to the Chasing Brighter podcast, the podcast created as a guide to make midlife the best life.
Are you ready to embrace the next chapter of your life with confidence and excitement? Your best life is just a listen away.
Hey, Kelly, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jess. How are you doing?
I'm good. I want to talk about a couple things. I know we've talked about this a lot, but like a victim mindset versus a growth mindset. And also just to share a little bit about the loss of a family member and the grief that Kelly and I have been going through. So first, this all ties in with the grief and whatnot, but to start lighter, I'm getting new carpet on my stairs, which I've been wanting to do forever.
You did. Congratulations.
And it's coming tomorrow. And I told my husband I was going to get a quote, and then all of a sudden we're getting new carpet. And he's very upset with me. But what spurred it on too is that we're going to be hosting the Martin Christmas. You know, Gabby is going to be graduating. We'll be hosting a lot of parties. We have not been entertaining since pre-COVID. And our carpet on the stairs has just gotten terrible. And we've been there 17 years in the house. And so the carpet was there before then. Very excited. It started because Gabby called one day and our water heater was leaking. And then that led to water being in the walls, which led to 3 weeks of remediation with a giant hole in our house. And now the remediation is done and we're going through insurance. And so now we're going to have construction. And the reason that ties into like a victim mentality, and maybe it's because I'm a therapist, but I'll have people who are like, this happened and this happened and this happened and this happened. And I just want to say, if you are human and you are on this earth, there is a high chance that shit's going down for you. Like life is hard. Things are hard. And so our aunt passed away in July, which was really devastating. And then her daughter, our cousin Safia Lyon, who's a nurse practitioner, who was becoming a board certified psychiatric health nurse, passed away. 45 years old, 3 children. Kelly and I were very close to her. And so I can say that my aunt died, my cousin died, my water heater broke, there's holes in the thing. Oh, the other day, what happened? Oh, something happened in our house. Oh, the garage door broke. So it's like, you know, things are always going on, and how do you get through those times? And so one of the things for grief for me that helps me, and I think helps my clients, 2 things. One, that you have a belief about what happens when you die, and 2, connection. And so I want to talk about our trip to Kansas. To me, being able to grieve with my loved ones and having connection really helps me in a grieving process. How about for you, Kelly?
Yeah, I think with Safia's passing, because we knew she was sick with cancer, she had been diagnosed, I think in like March.
Yeah, in March, she was her regular follow-up, and her cancer had come back and metastasized in her liver, brain, and spine at that time.
And so I think hearing that part was it's almost like for a lot of us, the grieving process started very early because we knew that we weren't going to have much time with her. We kept hoping. And so I think part of it too, Jess, right, was it's like, it was weeks and weeks of that. I remember telling Brian, especially like midsummer, where I was like, hey, just to let you know, I'm going to like out of nowhere start crying once in a while because I'm just really struggling with this, you know? And so that was really hard. And in some ways, going back to Kansas and celebrating her life was kind of a great way to take a moment to celebrate her and family, you know? It was really fun in that way to be able to reconnect with family. And so I think that was the other part I took away from, her passing was life is always going on. We all get really busy, and it's really hard to stay connected to everyone all the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could do a better job of being connected with my family. extended family. I mean, because we grew up with
Right.
our cousins so close, so much,
Yeah, I'm trying to talk without just bawling, but I was praying for a miracle and I was so hopeful because Sophia, such a bright, beautiful light. And at her memorial, not one person had ever heard her say a negative thing. She was just a person that didn't curse, didn't say anything negative. She was just so, so beautiful. And after her diagnosis, my mother, Kelly, and I were calling each other all the time crying. I was trying to hold out hope, but she has 3 children, 15, 13, and 12. And I don't know if Ozzy's 14, he's 8th grade, right? So a sophomore, 8th grade, 12-year-old. And grieving for them to lose their mother at such a young age was very difficult.
yes.
There was hope. Everything was shrinking. There was a lot of hope. After the death of her mother, she declined really rapidly. It was hard to see pictures of her, to just see that. It was hard to see her at Aunt Sherry's funeral where she couldn't stand. But
Yeah,
like you're saying,
I didn't have a chance to go
yeah,
to that funeral. I know
right.
you did, so you had a chance to
I
see
was
her.
joking with my other cousins in Kansas. It's like we bury those bodies. It's like you have 48 hours to,
I know.
we have friends. I have a cousin in Wyoming. He's a therapist and he calls me a lot. And so he called and we were just laughing. Like all of us on the West Coast, it's hard for us to get to Kansas very quickly. So sometimes a person will pass on Sunday and literally the funeral's on Friday and we're not able to get there quickly, or, it just takes a lot of
Yes.
logistics for us to get there.
Yes.
And there's not a lot of family that is not in Kansas. And so, and I'm not saying take me into consideration, but it can be really difficult. But when I went in July to Aunt Sherry's funeral, it was just so good to see my cousins. It's our mother's side. We did a family vacation every
Every
summer
year.
with
Yep.
3 of my mom's 4 sisters' kids. All 4, because I was thinking Aunt Nita didn't come, right? So my mother has 5
That's true.
siblings.
Yep.
And we would travel with 4 of the siblings. And we moved to Colorado and lived with my mother's brother. And so we were close with that family. And so we have the opportunity to be so close with all of I want to say we
And
have
even think
24
about,
cousins.
because Cecily's lived with us one summer and
Yeah,
babysat us.
so I was talking to our cousin Cicely about it because I don't know. You're looking back, like, I think she slept on the floor that summer, and I have some feelings about that, like, about maybe the way she was treated, I'm not sure. Anyways, we talked
We
about
had no
the
space.
centipede
Yeah.
situation and everything, but, anyway, I wanted to get back to see our family, and when you talk about reprioritizing, my friend Mary passed away a couple years ago, and that's our good friend Teresa's sister. And it just makes you think, like, what are you doing with your time? Like, what are you doing? What's happening? And it really is easy I know when I've traveled, when I went in July to Aunt Sharon's funeral, I went by myself and it was very easy just for me to grab a backpack, not check any bags and go. Everyone wanted to know where the kids were and I felt so bad, but that takes so much more logistics to get the kids going. And so when we found about Sophia's memorial service, Gabriella is in online classes. And so I wanted her to go so she could see everybody. And also she knows Sophia's oldest, Oli, and talks to her a lot. And so I thought that would be good for us to go. And so like you're saying, one of the things that has been swirling in my mind after this is how do you spend it is impossible, right, to see everybody all the time. But how do you maintain those connections with the people you love? How do you look at what's important to you? And does your time reflect that? And I would love to get back to Kansas more often and see all of our family. It's not that big of a deal just for me to go. For both of us, it's a very quick flight. How long is a flight for you?
Jess, I would totally do it as well. I think that's a great idea. It can just be, that's the thing. Like we could fly in on a Saturday morning and fly back on a Sunday. It's not a lot of time to me, I realize like it's not it's not quantity,
Yeah.
it's quality.
Yeah.
And just having those moments.
Yeah.
Even just small things, Jess, like I don't have all of my cousins' phone numbers, right? I don't have a lot of their addresses. I wasn't sending them a Christmas card. And I'm thinking to myself, these are all things that are a means for me to stay connected to them that I never have made the effort to do, not because I didn't care, but because I don't know if maybe having this happen helped me change my values have evolved
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I think it was like we had kids, we were busy, everyone's just trying to keep their shit together,
Well,
including our cousins.
I also
Everyone's
think,
had
yeah.
a busy upbringing
Well,
or
that's
whatever
what,
growing up.
that was Sophia's role in her family, was keeping everyone together. I feel like I'm like that too. I'm a connector. Like, I'm trying to communicate with them all the time. And then mom and I will talk, and it's like almost a contest of who knows what, because our cousin Nick and our uncle Dennis are driving to Wyoming. And so my uncle was saying they're going to stop by Vegas. And then I was talking to her, and I didn't know that our cousin Nick broke up with his partner and then now has a new
New
girlfriend.
old partner.
And his ex is reconnected with his ex-wife. And so we were just kind of talking. And then I was like, well, did you know this? And, it was like mom and I, whoever had the most updated information about what's going on. But I think a lot of people have a person in their family that tries to keep the connection with everybody and try to see, where everyone is. And I've been trying. I try with the Christmas cards. I try with Facebook. I try with texting. When I went to Aunt Sharon's funeral, I did get Jenny's number. I did not have our cousin Jenny's number, but I've been trying to stay connected. One of our cousins had a hysterectomy. And so I was like, a lot of this is stuff we talk about on the podcast. Like, I don't know what to say or do, but I just want to say, hey, you had a hysterectomy, right? So, hey, I heard you had surgery. I love you. I'm thinking about you. How are you doing? And then a few days later, hey, how are things going? It doesn't have to be this crazy. I think we get in our head about a lot of this stuff, like, oh, do I have their number? Do I don't have their number? Like, should I text them? Well, that's random. That's weird. What do I say? And it's just like, do it, right? Like, we can message them on social media. We can ask someone, hey, do you have their number? Hey, this is Jess. I just wanted you to have my number. Hope everything's okay. And trying to just even with our Aunt Jean on our father's side, she's only 12 years older than I am and was more like a big sister. So I try just to text her picture of the kids every once in a while. Hey, what are you guys doing? Our cousin Shiloh that lived here, he'll send me pictures of what he's doing. And so then I just try, you know what I mean? Just here's kind of what's going on. And it does take time, but like how many of us are on TikTok or Instagram or playing Wordle, right? And so it's like we do have time. And if connection with others or family is important, how do we do that? How do we kind of make that a practice?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, what I want anyone who's listening to this episode to take away is, especially when it comes to family, I think you have to figure out what's important to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe there are people you haven't connected with for a long time. I think family is kind of a cool thing in that you share, depending on who it is, but for
If it's
our
healthy.
cousins, if it's healthy, we shared on all of our cousins, we shared a lot of great memories growing up as kids. And we spent a lot of time with all of that family. And even though we've all kind of gone our separate ways, it's really cool at this stage to kind of come back together and see. I've been actually telling a lot of people, Jess, I don't know if you and I talked about this, but like we're in a lot of ways, we're in the thick of our kids and like whether they're going to turn out okay. Are they going to go to college? Are they going to finish high school? Are they going to do all these things? And we have a lot of cousins of older kids who are now adults who it's like, they turned out fine. Everybody turns out fine. Our family has a lot of love. And I think that that's the one thing that Safia really emulated, was love. And
Love and
it's the
light.
one thing that really helps keep families strong and helps keep that connection going and builds confidence. And just to know that you are loved it means a lot.
Our family, our entire family on both sides is not perfect. And there is no void of trauma or fighting or whatever it is. But I think the key is that we always come back together and we love each other. And we always have joked about my mom's side of the family because it's so big and very openly dysfunctional. And so we always joked on that side of the family, like there's no, what is it? Like there's fun and dysfunctional or something like that we would say.
You can't
And,
have fun without dysfunction or something.
or something like that. But I think it's like, it's not that it's perfect, but it's said that you don't question that you're loved. We are loved unconditionally on that side of the family. Well, in all of our family, but I'm just talking about the side family, just like that there is unconditional love and that we don't question that we were loved, right? And that people are trying their best. Like we're not perfect. They're not perfect, but that we're trying, and that we're loved. I think that is something that, our grandparents did a great job of, right? Of just loving their children unconditionally. And so that's why I always say that too. Like, if you tell your kid every day you love them, they're going to be fine, because I don't see that with my clients in my practice, right? People didn't feel loved. They weren't told they were loved. They weren't treated in a loving way. And so when you see our cousins' children being adults and doing well, it's because they have the love and support
Yes.
of people, and that they're, that they feel loved. And so it is so good to get back and to see everybody. And so maybe that's something that you and I can try to commit to. And I also think now, because of like Airbnbs and stuff, I don't think
Yeah.
it's difficult to have a family reunion, because we can just rent to a big house and have a barbecue. Like Angie, Safia's sister, was so kind to host all of us on multiple nights. And it doesn't take a lot, right? Like, we all kind of brought some things. They had cookies, they had hot dogs, and then, we brought beverages. And it's not like, it doesn't have to be this stressful, crazy thing. It's just about trying to find moments to gather. And that can be with your friends locally. Are you getting with your friends locally? I finally got our craft club back together, but the day we were going to meet, ended up having to go to Kansas, and we had to cancel that. But how do you create moments locally if connection is important to you, and your friends, your family of choice, your family of origin are important to you? How do you create those moments? It was so great. I got on the airplane. Our cousin Ian lives in Las Vegas, was very close to Ian growing up. He lived with us in high school. He
Yes.
was my
Yeah.
husband's
He's like
best
a little
man.
brother.
Yeah. And he lives about an hour north of us now. And so I got on the plane and he was right there, and I was like, I didn't know you were going. And then just seeing him, it's like remembering that he's so cool. He's such a calming
Yeah,
person.
he's
I love
fun.
seeing
So
him.
fun
It's
to
like,
be
how can
around.
we see him more? Because he's has such a good energy
Yeah.
about him. And we had really great talks. And so again, how do you, if connection's important, how you get out of your routine and do that? And so I think it just has us take a moment. And I've been living in gratitude. I am very stressed. I feel like something's wrong with my brain right now. I don't have the words, but I am grateful. I'm grateful to be stressed. I'm grateful that my kids are busy, and I just have been living in gratitude.
I love that, Jess. I think
Yeah.
that's very important. And it's taking a moment to truly, truly feel that gratitude and to know. Because I mean, that's the thing, is everything is a state of mind, like we talked about in the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
A victim mentality versus kind of that growth mindset, and
Yeah.
having that positive outlook.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, um, our hearts go out to Sophia's family, her husband, her children. And I know that she has left such an incredible legacy. If you're interested more about her, we'll have links to her episodes where she really shared a lot about her own healing journey, her own trauma, and also the work that she's done. She really, truly did define love and light, and she will be missed.
Thanks for listening today.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend.
Are you ready to chase brighter days ahead? Subscribe to Chasing Brighter now, and let's embark on this exciting journey together.